Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome everyone to this detailed presentation. Today, we're looking at one of the absolute most profound, visually striking, and honestly deeply resonant moments in the historical accounts of faith. We're going to explore this incredible moment where the literal physical laws of nature collided head-on with absolute unwavering belief. Specifically, we're diving into the story of Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, known as Abraham in many traditions, and the legendary miracle of the fire. Imagine, just for a second, standing completely alone before a massive empire that has turned all of its overwhelming might against you. I mean, what do you even do? How does a human being react when faced with impending destruction? You see, this story isn't just some historical event from centuries ago. It's a fascinating deep dive into the actual mechanics of pure faith in Allah and total reliance on the divine. We're going to break down exactly how this miracle unfolded step by step. So, let's get started and see what we can learn from a man who faced the ultimate fiery test.
So, this brings us to the core question framing our whole discussion today. What actually happens when absolute worldly power clashes with perfect faith? To really wrap your head around the gravity of this, you've got to mentally picture the scene these historical sources describe. King Nimrod was a ruler who was just utterly consumed by his own arrogance. He held absolute worldly power, and he decided he was going to make a terrifying example out of Prophet Ibrahim just for speaking the truth. Nimrod threw literally all of his resources, his empire's entire might, and his massive ego into building a fire unlike anything the world had ever seen before. The accounts describe these towering flames that were so incredibly intense, they literally looked like they were touching the sky. It was an environment precision-engineered to project pure terror. The heat would have been totally unbearable even from far away. For Nimrod and the massive, terrified crowd watching this whole spectacle unfold, the outcome was a done deal. Nimrod was 100% convinced he was about to silence the voice of truth forever and turn it into nothing but ash. This wasn't just a punishment, you know? It was a grand theatrical display of tyranny meant to crush all hope.
Now, what's truly mind-blowing here is the stark, almost unbelievable contrast between the two main figures in this showdown. On one side, you have Nimrod in this nightmare environment he created. It's completely defined by arrogance, sky-high flames, sheer frantic terror, and this dark certainty of destruction. But then, look at the other side. Facing this monstrous inferno is Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him. And what is his state of mind? It's one of profound, absolutely immovable calmness. Just think about how counterintuitive that is for a second. Human instinct screams at us to panic, right? To run, to beg for mercy when we're faced with a roaring fire. But Ibrahim exhibits none of that. Zero panic. There's only absolute faith and total reliance on Allah. While the crowd is just horrified by the physical reality of this fire, Ibrahim is completely anchored in a totally different reality, a spiritual peace that makes him basically immune to the terror of the moment.
To really grasp how anyone could maintain that level of calm while staring down a literal inferno, we have to talk about a core concept, Tawakkul. Let's just slow down for a second here, because this is heavy and it's absolutely crucial. Tawakkul translates to absolute trust and reliance on God. It is the deep, unwavering knowledge that the Creator has ultimate total power over all things. And yes, that includes the fire. Abraham's lack of fear didn't come from some kind of delusion or pretending the danger wasn't real. He saw the flames, he felt the intense heat, but his tawakkul meant he knew with absolute certainty that the fire could only burn if Allah permitted it to burn. It's this resolute, anchoring peace. This isn't just sitting back and passively hoping for the best. It's an active, rock-solid certainty that God is entirely in control of the universe. And that realization, it completely strips away all earthly fears. And this brings us to a really powerful realization. Faith is not just words. It is a living reality that actually changes nature. For Prophet Ibrahim, his belief wasn't just some philosophy he talked about when things were going well. It wasn't an intellectual exercise. It was a tangible, active force. When faith reaches this profound level of true tawakkul, it actually sets the stage for something far, far beyond human comprehension. The intense belief and complete submission of Ibrahim created the exact conditions for a direct divine intervention. Now, we all know how the natural world works, right? Physics dictates that fire burns. It consumes whatever you throw into it. But the maker of those laws, he has the power to suspend them or change them entirely. And as we're about to see, this extraordinary level of belief was about to trigger an event that would literally alter the physics of nature itself.
And here is the absolute climax of our story.
beautifully preserved in Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 69 of the Quran. As Ibrahim was cast into the blaze, the divine command was given directly to the flames. Qulna ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. We commanded, O fire, be coolness and safety upon Abraham. This just brilliantly illustrates the ultimate boundless power of the Creator. And I really want you to notice the highly specific wording used here. It's amazing. The command didn't just tell the fire to be cold. Think about it. If a massive towering fire suddenly dropped to freezing temperatures, that extreme cold would have just been another form of destruction. No, it commanded the fire to be coolness and safety. In a single instant, this direct command stripped the fire of its destructive, burning nature. What was meant to be a gruesome, agonizing death sentence was immediately transformed into a sanctuary of peace. Those roaring, terrifying flames literally became a completely safe haven for Ibrahim.
So, let's look at the aftermath, because the turnaround here is just incredible. The very tool that King Nimrod used to project his ultimate power and tyranny, this massive sky-high fire, became the ultimate miracle that completely undermined him. Prophet Ibrahim emerged from the very center of the blaze, completely and totally unharmed. I mean, just imagine the utter shock, the absolute dead silence that must have fallen over that terrified crowd. Nimrod's intended punishment resulted in a miraculous, humiliating defeat for his arrogance. Cruelty and tyranny were completely dismantled in front of thousands of people without a single sword ever being drawn. So the crucial takeaway is this. For someone armed with pure, strong faith, even a roaring fire can essentially become a blossoming garden. The inflexible laws of nature literally bowed to the faith of one man.
And we can really see how this builds into the broader historical picture. Because the story doesn't just end when the fire goes out. Ibrahim didn't just survive and then, retreat into hiding. Not at all. This miraculous victory was actually a launchpad. The light of Tawhid, which is the foundational core message of the absolute oneness of God, continued to spread far beyond that city. Prophet Ibrahim carried this immense momentum forward. He traveled to new lands, sharing this profound truth. That fire was meant to permanently silence his message. But instead, it became a historical megaphone. It amplified his mission across generations and millennia. His monumental journey continued, fueled not by the destructive flames of Nimrod, but by the indestructible, enduring light of his faith.
Which brings us to a deeply provocative question I want to leave you with today. We are incredibly fortunate that we'll probably never face a literal towering inferno built by an arrogant king. But we all face the fires of life, don't we? We face terrifying trials, overwhelming stress, health crises, and those moments where it feels like everything is crashing down around us and the heat is just unbearable. When those metaphorical fires surround you, how strong is your tawakkul? How strong is your absolute trust in the Creator's control over your situation? You see, this historical event isn't just a fascinating story from the past. It's a practical blueprint for navigating our own darkest moments today. Because if absolute reliance on Allah can cool the hottest flames of history, just imagine what it can do for the fiery trials you face in your own life right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this presentation, and I really hope this incredible story leaves you with something powerful and lasting to reflect on.